Hey everyone, it's August 2nd, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share with serial killer Antone Tony Costa, known as the Cape Cod Vampire, who likely murdered at least 8 victims in the 1960s, and that is him right over there. Born in Cambridge, Massachusetts in 1945, Costa's father died in World War II shortly after his birth. He had a very active imagination, or was haunted if you believe that sort of nonsense, claiming at the age of 7 that his father was coming to visit him during the night. He showed signs of being disturbed as a teen, and at the age of 17 he broke into a house in his neighborhood and stood over a girl's bed. She awoke and her screams drove him off, but he returned 3 days later and tried to drag her down to the basement. He was stopped in the act by neighbors and was convicted of burglary and assault, but received just a 1-year suspended sentence. Costa married a 14-year-old girl when he was 18 and fathered 3 children during their ill-fated, drug-fueled relationship. At the age of 21, he brought home 2 hippie girls and told his wife that he was going to California with them. They never arrived on the West Coast, however, and Costa returned 10 days later claiming he drove them to Hayward, but they are now believed to be his first murder victims. The next year, he accidentally shot a female friend with an arrow. Sure, Tony. By 1968, his marriage was a mess and he headed to San Francisco, living briefly in the Haight-Ashbury district before shipping up to Boston. A girlfriend of his in the Bay Area disappeared the same day he left, and authorities believe she was also a murder victim. Upon his return to the East Coast, he broke into a doctor's office and stole drugs and surgical equipment. 1 week later, a local 18-year-old woman disappeared. His new live-in girlfriend also went missing, with Costa claiming that she had gone to Mexico. Sure, Tony. Another girlfriend turned up dead in New York a few months later after she drowned in a bathtub during a drug overdose. In early 1969, the mutilated body of his former girlfriend who had gone to Mexico was found, and 2 more friends of his went missing. Then in March, the dismembered bodies of many of his former companions who had gone missing began to turn up, found buried in shallow graves. Shot in the head and missing their hearts, the remains bore human teeth marks and showed evidence of necrophilia. The victims were found in the same field where Costa grew marijuana, and he was immediately the #1 suspect. When arrested, a psychiatrist described him as a modern-day Marquis de Sade, a sexually dangerous man who was capable of murder. He allegedly confessed while in custody. This is disputed, with some sources saying he never confessed, and was convicted of 2 counts of murder, though it's believed he killed at least 8 women. Sentenced to life in prison, he collected books related to the occult and ritual magic, including the famed Satanic Bible, keeping them in his cell. He also wrote a fictionalized account about the crimes in a book called Resurrection, in which he claimed that a friend of his had actually committed the murders and an alter ego dismembered the victims. Sure, Tony. In 1974, he was found hanging from a leather belt, having killed himself in his cell. 2 books about the case have been published recently, and the authors were scheduled to appear at an event in a bookstore in Cape Cod last year, but threats on social media made by relatives of Costa threatened violence, so the event was canceled. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so I can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Antone Tony Costa, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.
Sure, Jan.